Hi, guys. Uh, just wanted to touch on a topic here today. I was just going through my uh, what I'm gonna wear to my aunt's funeral. Now, when I say my aunt, she's my father's only remaining sibling. She is 2 years older than me. She was the youngest. My dad was the oldest. But anyway, this is an important subject. I wanted to tell you a couple of stories. As y'all know, I'm 66. I was so reminded at 65 of my age with Medicare, with um, living alone, having my taxes frozen. It's all a lot of drama. Remind you every day how old you are. um, my aunt had fallen in her bedroom in the middle of the night, hit her head, was knocked unconscious. Her daughter, I'm assuming, was living with her. She was not living alone. Um, but I don't want to see this happen to other people. School has not yet started, so I'm sure she got up for work and assumed that she was sleeping in. And then when she got home, realized she had never gotten up. So she found her the following day. And then she never regained consciousness and passed away. She fell on Tuesday night, I believe, they believe in the middle of the night, and she was found Wednesday, and she passed away Saturday morning. She was 68. Uh, Very vital. Still wore little heels. Last time I physically saw her, I believe, was Thanksgiving. A couple of years ago, my brother had gone to West Virginia with the in-law, live in West Virginia, and the family. So we went there. I really didn't. I really didn't have the ability to have a lot of people here. She does, and yeah, she was cooking and wearing her little heels, and vibrant and happy. And suddenly these things happen, and I've been so reminded. Now at 66, it's been on my mind. Last spring, not this past spring, the spring before, I had bought a bunch of battery operated um, motion lights and remote lights, because I have my house is on 3 different levels, and I have lots of stairs. And the statistics for people over 60 living alone, falling, and stairs is an issue, pets are an issue, the top 3 issues. And then of course water in your kitchen, your bathroom, falls. Obviously there's lots of appliances and things that you could hit hard, hit your head on, and not be found. And most recently in the spring, when Lexi threw me on the ground, it was actually late spring. That was my fault. I do have leashes attached to the back of the house, above the door. And I usually put a leash on her before I even open the back door, because she's a runner. She used to be a hunting dog. And I usually hook the two up, and my hands were hurting. And I did not. And there was a rabbit on the back of the steps, and she dragged me off the 2 cement steps and right onto the cement slab. And then next to the cement slab is stone. Now, I was lucky because even though I live alone, I was not knocked unconscious, number one. Number two is she got loose, and my neighbors are more than well aware of her. And they actually managed to corral her in my driveway, because it took me a good 15 minutes just to get myself up off the ground, all bloody and everything. And I would say a good 2 to 3 week recovery. I was not black and blue, I was black. um, banged up pretty good. So I was very lucky from the standpoint of my neighbors would have at least been aware that my dog was loose and where am I? And, but I could have hit my head and been knocked unconscious. Fortunately, I was not, and people were aware. But it is a problem for those of you. I don't want to see anything like this happen to any of you. Anybody watching this video, anyone in the same situation as me, living alone, and having pets, I've made changes. I want you guys to know. I told you I bought the lights. I took them and put them close to the stairs because sometimes in the dark, just walking through the rooms, I walk through 3 rooms from this rec room to the stairs, and I do 3 partial flights of steps because I have like landings and then they go around. So I have put those motion lights all up my staircases and remote lights in the 3 rooms that I have to pass through to go from this room to the master. I go through, I have a kitchenette down here, and I do keep in the when it gets dark, I do keep battery operated automatic lights that go on at a certain time in the windows in that room. And then I do have some light, and I go up the steps, go through the kitchen, and y'all have seen a lot of my lighting videos. I mean, it's very, very surreal that this has happened because this has been on my mind. I told you I bought the lights last spring in 2024, never installed them. But I've been doing that in the last couple of months leading into fall. And I do always kind of update my lighting, put my candles out and stuff when it starts getting dark. I do also upgrade my, make sure that they're working and this and that, and my solar lights outside and my lighting outside. Because again, with the dog, I go down 2 cement steps onto a cement landing with her on a, I attach the leash, but I do have her. But the difference between attaching the leash to the back of the house is if she should jump, I don't have to hang on to the leash. I tried to because I knew that meant she was going to run, get out. So, but anyway, I've made those changes. Also, with the dogs in the bathroom in the kitchen is a big problem when you're over 60, living alone. And my dogs don't go in the bathroom with me when I'm showering or taking a bath because they don't like baths themselves. They will when I'm just cleaning or whatever, not in the tub. And in the kitchen, I have stopped them. I now put a gate up to stop them because there's a couple of my kitchen has like little alcoves, and one has the stove and then a pantry behind it, but Loki is a garbage gut and she will get right behind me, and more than once when I'm taking stuff out of the oven and backed out, she's been right behind me and almost dropped what I was, burned myself. I have burned myself many times with her doing that. And of course there's water there, and many sources of water, dishwasher, sink, so I have stopped her and Lexi's very, very good with me. Loki is not. I have arthritis, osteoarthritis. I had a car accident in my 30s. It was just 30 years this spring, where the engine came in on me, pinned me at the hip, crushed my foot, many injuries, other foot, knees, hip. I now have bone on bone in my hip and bone on bone in my knees. Now, I do a lot, and I paid a great deal of attention in my 30s to the therapy I went to. I spent a year and a half, more or less learning to walk again. And I still do all those things all these years later, is, to keep mobile, never stop moving. Even if you don't have injuries, if you do, you're more at risk. I get up every morning, stretch, bend, exercise, usually in the form of dancing to music. That's what I enjoy. So I just wanted to remind you guys of some of the hazards of living alone and the things that can happen. And of course has happened to my aunt, who's only 2 years older than me. And it's very surreal because these things have been on my mind, with Lexi throwing me on the ground. And I've had more than one injury from not only the dogs, but just around here doing things, and have, hurt myself. And fortunately was never knocked unconscious or anything like that, but definitely injured. I just recently had a car accident. I was alone in the car, and it very much reminds you of your mortality, and the fact that I'm 66, and the fact that I do live alone. I had a devil of a time finding somebody, because my girlfriend, who would normally do those things, was not answering her phone, and she was outside doing something, so she was not answering her phone. And in fact, that's whose home I was coming from when I had the accident. But I was a good hour waiting, trying to get a hold of somebody, because it was midday, midweek, everybody's working, nobody's answering their phone, including the one person who I knew was home. I just left her house. So, yeah, but she was outside, and it took me the better part of an hour. I stood there with the police officer, who stayed with me, thankfully, till she got there, and picked me up. My car was towed. So, again, I wanted to mention Lexi, because despite the fact was a hunting dog and has caused me some injuries because of her trying to run away, I did want to mention she's very, very sensitive to my injuries around the house, because I do always make the dogs go before me on going down steps, because that's probably the hardest thing for me. I have no issue going up steps, but going down, and or carrying things as well, going down. I have a laundry basket up there. It's lined with a linen bag, and I throw the darn thing right down the steps. My coffee mug that I use up there is steel, metal, whatever, and I wrap it up in the dirty towel that I use for my coffee bar, and every day or every other day it gets coffee on, it gets messed up, and it gets, so I wrap it around that, throw it down the steps so it doesn't get dented. But I'm just saying, I have trays, I have baskets that I use to haul things up and down. I do have a landing, so it's partial steps. A lot of times I could reach that landing and put it up there, So, but what Lexi does do is, all my stairs, like I said, are partial, and then there's a landing. Loki will go down and be at the back door in no time. Lexi will go in front of me, wait on the landing till she sees me put my hand on the railing. And then when I get to the landing and reach the other railing, then she goes down and waits at the bottom of the steps for me. Now, I will say, It's very important, guys. I have found out, like I told you about the lighting, is something I didn't have upgraded. My husband used to have every light on the house all the time, so it wasn't an issue. But I'm not a fan of overhead lights, and I do have a lot of trouble with the lights in my eyes and sun in my eyes. So, so I do tend to walk into dark rooms. And again, the dogs are a hazard, stairs are a hazard. And, for me, I live in a very old house, and the dogs can trip you on the way to the light at the bottom of the steps or the top of the steps going down. So I'm just saying that has happened too in the past. So I put all those motion sensor lights up and down my steps. I put the remote lights and the battery operated candle lights that go on at dark in my windows, because I go from here through what I have as a kitchenette, has 2 candle lights in there, up the staircase with the motion lights, through the kitchen, which I do have a light on, but it's a very large kitchen, and I just sort of pass through. And again, the dogs are passing through with me, so I put remote lights on the walls there. And then I walk into my living room, and then I have to walk all the way through the living room to that staircase. And I put remote lights in. Y'all have watched my lighting videos, sconces. And then more motion lights going up the stairs. My staircases have all been tricked out because of my husband and myself and my mom. So, because they are short staircases, and, my husband can navigate the little one, the short one, between here and that level, has kitchen, bedrooms, living room, bathroom on that level. Down here, I have the rec room, bathroom, and like a kitchenette. And also, my one shower tub has been tricked out. Again, because of my husband, my mom, and of course it came in handy for me when Lexi threw me on the ground. I had a good 2-3 week recovery, and not black and blue, black on my side. She really I really hit hard because I was going down the steps sort of head first. I did not hit my head, thankfully. I had the sense to sort of do this, but it sort of got me really at the chin and all the way down on my right side, because I was holding her leash with the right hand, so it just kind of turned me as I went airborne. So, but anyway, these are important things for people living alone over 60. And again, I don't want to see this happen to anyone else. And I just find it very surreal that I've been updating my lighting and finally putting in things that I bought last year when I turned 65, because I was so well aware of my age with all the things that change at 65. And also had an injury last year too. So yeah, just wanted to give you guys that message and tell you guys to be safe out there. Definitely update if you have stairs, your lighting on your stairs. Definitely update your bathrooms. Keep your pets out of the kitchen and the bathroom if at all possible. These things will help you if you have stairs. I mean, they're the number one big stairs, bathrooms, and pets are the number one big issues for seniors falling. I have all 3. No one can get away from the bath or the shower and water and all, but you can keep your pets out of there. My dogs won't go in there because of when I'm bathing. So that's really the number one hazard, getting out wet, slipping in the tub, that kind of thing. So there you go. Be safe out there, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you on my next craft video.